Most entrepreneurs are playing the wrong game when it comes to YouTube. They're chasing after views and subscribers when none of it ever leads to actual buyers in their business. And the entrepreneurs that are winning, like my client Toby, who makes over $40,000 a month with less than 5,000 subscribers, well, they're playing a different game. So I want to reveal the 8 new rules to succeed on YouTube, the ones that'll actually grow your business and brand, not just your views. And make sure you stick around to the end because number 8 is the reason they'll actually buy. So, rule number 1, the thing that everyone needs to stop doing is chasing after views. The old way of looking at YouTube and growing your business with YouTube was that more views would equal more clients, bigger business. When this is farthest from the truth in 2026 and beyond, in 2026, right now, it's revenue over reach. And to show you, this is Alex Mosey, the goats of the online coaching spaces and pretty much entrepreneurship as a whole. He started a second channel, if you haven't seen. And on his second channel, he has videos with 100 views, 200 views, 300 views. So why would someone who has millions of subscribers, gets millions of views every single month, start a brand new channel that gets less views? Well, because he understands that the videos that get less views actually make him more money. Because views were never the thing that pay your mortgage, was never the thing that gets you the lifestyle of your dreams, right? On average, if you were to play the YouTube game, become a YouTuber, you get paid 12 cents per view. So for 1,000 views, you get $12. $12 per 1,000 views. How are you going to make a living off of that? Well, you can't, right? And so if views aren't the thing that we should track how we can succeed on YouTube, what is? Well, this comes to rule number 2. It's about chasing the right viewer. So before we're chasing after views and subscribers, we're now focused on attracting buyers, okay? So this is my client, Dan Bolton, and I can zoom in for a second here. As you can see on the left here, he has 1.5 thousand subscribers at the time of this screenshot, and he's making over $144,000 in his business every single month. And he's getting DMs like this: "Hey, just watched one of your YouTube videos and I want to work with you. Yeah, my intuition is leading me to binge watch your videos. I think for about 3 or 4 weeks in that period, I've watched 7 to 10 of your YouTube videos." So these are examples of, well, people binge watching his content. And this resulted in him making millions of dollars in his business, exactly $1.5 million. So if you break down the math, if 1,000 people watch your video and 1% buy a, let's say, $10,000 offer, that's $100,000 from a video that you would probably think flopped, right? Versus in this example, right, it's better to have that scenario than have a stadium full of 50,000 people who can afford you than to have 12 people in a coffee shop that actually does. And this is a real experience I felt. I was on stage, I think, to a multiple, like 100, 200 people of coaches, consultants. And the interesting thing was I didn't get a lot of clients from it because the audience there couldn't afford my service. And the ones that did, they became clients, right? Now, in that same year, I got flown out to Mexico in this intensive, this inclusive, and I was talking about YouTube and how to succeed on the platform. And there's only like 10, 15 people there. But there's more money in that room with those 10, 15 people than the hundreds of people in the previous room of me speaking on stage. So this shows that it's not about how many views, it's about the quality of the views. So your next video doesn't need more people, it needs more of the right ones. And this is the big shift going on with YouTube. Another thing I want to share that I didn't add to this is like news, just came up today, is that YouTube, as of I think the 24th, the day of filming this is the 21st, so the next few days, they are making it so that views have changed forever. Where traditionally, for you to get a viewer would have to watch your video for a minimum like 30 or so seconds, right? So if I clicked off your video at 29 seconds, it wouldn't count as a view. Where now, as of like in the next few days, that will count as a view. So if I watch your video for 2 seconds, click off, that's now a view. So what this results in is that we are going to all get more views on our videos, but it doesn't mean they actually watched the video. So what's more important, right, isn't that they viewed it, it's who viewed it and if they watch it. So if making videos with the right audience isn't enough to get clients, then you need to get on their radar. right? This is the next thing, right? So how do we get on their radar? How do we get them not only to watch the video, click on the video, watch the video? How do we get on their radar? Well, this is rule number 3 that you need to follow if you want to grow your business, not just your views, is you need to think in TV, not just with YouTube. So the interesting thing, what this stat here is showing us, is that there are more people watching YouTube on TV than any other device. That's right. So more than mobile, more than desktop, more than any other device, YouTube is watched on TV. So what this means is how you stand out is you make sure that your videos are shown on TV. So if your thumbnail is, not great quality or not good for a YouTube experience or a TV experience, then they're not going to click, right? So we are in competition with not just YouTube videos, we're now in competition with Netflix and podcasts and sporting channels and documentaries. So the competition is more fierce than ever. So now you have to focus on actually making content, not just for YouTube, but for TV. So your video is not just competing with the guy in the niche, it's competing with everything on the couch. So having a video good enough for YouTube is just now the lowest bar to enter. So what do you do, right? You need to focus on your packaging, the title and thumbnail. You need to make sure you kill it in your intro, right? This intro that I just gave, that was practice, that was scripted, right? The rest of this is not scripted, but that was very intentional, right? And you ask yourself before you upload, would I watch this if I didn't make it? If you can focus on those 3 things, you will make sure that you stand out and you are findable, especially on TV. So how do you make, now that's what to focus on. How do you make videos for TV? What is the difference, right? Well, the difference is, this is rule number 4, is you want to build a show, not a channel. So the big shift going on right now is we used to make videos, we used to ask ourselves, what video should I make? Now it's about, well, how do I run a show that makes people want to actually come back to my channel? So a channel is a container, a show is a reason to return. So it's more important that people return to your channel than anything else, right? And traditionally, when we look at the biggest things that YouTube looks at as a quality content and why they push it out is because they have a high click-through rate, they have a high watch time, and viewers come back for more. So if you score high on those 3 things, your video will be pushed and pushed and pushed to more and bigger audiences, right? So that was the 3 key metrics that they show. So what they're doing now is they created this new tab. So, under playlists, they have podcast, playlist. Now there's a new style playlist called a show. And Alex Mosey just launched his new show, Scale or Fail, where he's helping entrepreneurs scale, right, or fail. And it's a competition, it's a show. So more and more people are gravitating to the show format because they're on TV, but also because videos are getting, more people are watching longer form videos and having series on shows because the binge effect is actually creating more trust at scale. So we are living in a trust recession, right? More and more people do not trust what they see and hear online. So a way to get, more trust is to get them to watch your video longer. How do you get them to watch your video longer? By having a show or a series where they can binge, get to know you better, and watch, right? So YouTube, it shows that since 2020, there's been a 51% increase in how much long-form content people are watching, right? So again, another reason why I need to start making long-form content instead of short-form content is because more trust, YouTube is pushing it. You're going to get more people interested in buying from you, more people who actually want to work with you, right? So that is rule number 4, what you need to focus on, how you get on TV and what you need to focus on. So now you know what content to make and what you should focus on, but then we got to focus and talk about the click, right? The packaging. How do you make them click? This is rule number 5. And this is a really, really cool example I'm excited to share. You have to create the best video in the world. If you had to create the best video in the world and no one clicks on it, then no one watches, right? So the old way of viewing packaging was just I just need to get the click. The new way you need to think about packaging is I need to get people to click and keep watching. So the difference is before we would, clickbait people just to click because YouTube would look at that as an indicator. More people clicked, great. But now YouTube is not looking at how many people clicked, it's how many people clicked and stayed watching. Because if they clicked, but they clicked off, then that is poor video. So you will actually hurt your channel and your video if they click on it and they stop watching it than if you just click on it in general. So it's better to actually have clear packaging than just packaging in general. So here's what will win the click. This is how you got to think of it. A thumbnail creates the curiosity. So we look at this thumbnail. What speaks to us right now? Well, number one, this guy's shredded and it says, I'm 72. That is, number one, it's eye-catching and hooks me in because he's in better shape than me and I'm in my 30s. And it's like, how is he doing that? So that's sparking the curiosity. The title is what creates the promise, right? So together they create the packaging, but the title is the promise. It's the simple routine behind his insane strength. So I know this video is walking through this guy's routine to get this result. And then a part of the packaging that you may or may not know is the first 30 seconds, the opening. So if I started talking about, I don't know, myself, let's say I'm her, and I started talking about my story and it had nothing to do with this guy, I'm going to click away because it's not what you promised, right? So you have to make sure in the first, it says minute, but really 30 seconds, that you are confirming the click. You're confirming the promise you made in the title, right? And so a pro tip is you want to make 9 thumbnails for each video. That's right, 9. Like sometimes I make more, but I would make 9 thumbnails for each video. So you have 3 different concepts, so different styles, and then 3 variations to that style. So a variation could be a changing in the text, a changing in the color, or changing in the orientation or the positioning, right? But 3 concepts, 3 very different concepts that you want to test, and then 3 variations. So that's 9. And out of those 3, you'd pick, A1 and B3 and C2, right? Whatever. And then you A/B test the best 3. Okay? That's it. That's the secret. So focus not just on winning the click, but winning the click and having them stay. Because that's what YouTube is tracking, and that's what will push you to more of your ideal audience and more of your buyers, not just subscribers. Okay? So now they clicked, they watched. Now comes the part that decides whether they buy. Very important. Rule number 6, making the experience the content. Okay, here's what I mean. Before AI, we used to teach what we know. So if I read a book, I could illustrate what I learned from this book, and that video would do very, very well. And I would look at you as an authority, right? Now people want you to teach what you've lived through, your experience. And this is mainly because of AI and of other factors. But if I type in AI, how do I start a business? It will give me an answer in seconds. So having just the information isn't enough. It isn't valuable because it's accessible at a rate and more trustworthy. Like I probably trust AI more than most people's YouTube videos, right? So you have to do things only you can do, not AI or anyone else. Because information is like the map, but the experience is like the guide. The map is free, but people pay for the guide. So the value comes from the lived experience. So like in this analogy, right? If I am traveling to a new place and I can look up in GPS, how do I get to this place and where I'm at? And it'll give me the quickest possible way to get there. But if I had a guide, right? They can tell me, hey, avoid these streets at these times because it's heavy traffic, or this is a not a safe area. I don't recommend going through there. Or like, oh, are you more into the scenic route, or are you more wanting the quickest way there? Because if you like the scenic route, I actually take this way because you get to see all these things, right? So someone who's lived through experience, we pay more money for that because it's like we value different things. And so value comes from values. And so if I value the quickest way, or if I value the safest way, or if I value the scenic route with the sightseeing, then that's why we pay for guides when we can have everything free at our fingertips. So don't focus on the info, focus on the lived experience, right? Perfect example of this is this trend that was going on for a while, this POV, point of view trend. This was like huge a year or two ago. Right? And this guy, Daniel, created it. And why it popped off is because he wasn't giving some crazy, life-changing business advice. Like, his advice was good, but it wasn't like anything revolutionary. But he shared it in a way that was through his experience. And look at this title. You're 26-year-old entrepreneur doing business in China. That's 100% on the experience of what that's like. A lot of very curiosity driven. So this style format you see more and more, and this style is what attracting more and more buyers, not just subscribers, because I want to think about why I'm buying your offer. I'm buying your offer because I also want the life that offer creates. So if you're helping me scale from 6 to 7 figures, as an example, I want the lifestyle that 7 figures allowed me. So the experience of you doing everything that you're doing, you're also selling that, right? So this is very important in your content to shift from teaching what you know to teaching what you lived. So make your experience the content. Don't just make the information the content, okay? So live experience is great, but only if you can back it up. This goes to my second last point. We're almost there. Show the receipts. Show me the money. Old way, say the result. New way, show the result. So this is a photo of me with this plaque in the background. I don't know if you can see it in the video. But basically this plaque was I won from my payment processor. I started a new business in January. It's August. And in 6 months, I got to $100,000 in sales. And so they send you a plaque. And that's what this plaque is. So this is proof that I've made money with my YouTube channel with less than 1,000 subscribers in a brand new business. So you've heard the saying that facts tell, stories sell, but proof is what closes, right? So if I just say, hey, trust me, I'm really great at this, that's a claim, but no one can argue with receipts. No one can argue that I've won that plaque. No one can argue that I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars. I make multiple 6 figures in my business because I have the receipts. And this matters because I mentioned this earlier that we're in a trust recession, right? More and more people do not trust what they see and hear online. And so you have to show people. You have to show people, walk people through your process, walk people through how you did it. Don't just say it, show it, right? In the beginning of this, I showed you guys the successes. I'm walking through this presentation, this thing that I made to show you that I know what I'm talking about, right? This is not like from AI. This is 100% my Notion doc that I created all this, right? So this is what's important, right? Showing, not just telling. Showing leads to trust. Trust leads to sales. Now, as I said earlier, number 8 is the reason why they will buy. And it comes down to trust. How do you build trust? The interesting thing that I've learned in my 7 years doing this, helping entrepreneurs scale to multiple 7 figures with the power of content, YouTube, personal branding, you name it, is that your content is the trust. It's what, so many people think about content as a vehicle to get more attention. I look at it as a vehicle to amplify trust. And people more experienced than me have said this, like Caleb Rawson, who is the creative director for Gary Vee and Alex Hormozi, said that it's about amplifying trust. And so this graph here, I want to show you, this was a case study that they looked at 2 years of buying behavior of their hundreds of customers they sold to. What was the pattern that made them buy? And it wasn't a funnel, it wasn't a lead magnet, it wasn't a certain messaging. The people who bought and invested in them all watched minimum of 47 minutes of content. So out of the hundreds of people that bought in a 2-year span, the only thing they can see that was common across different products was they all watched 47 minutes of content. And this is what people are missing, is that your content is the trust builder. That the more that they consume your content, the more they will trust you and the more they will buy. Content creation is an amplifier of trust. Content creation is a journey of becoming someone worth being followed, being thought of as a leader. Your content is the thing. It is the vehicle that will pay you to market. It is the vehicle that will help you stand out and sell out. It is the lifeblood of businesses. And if you are sleeping, if you are not creating content, you're relying on ads, you're relying on referrals, that all stops when you stop. Content's the only thing that compounds over time. I still get views from videos I posted 2 years ago. Think about that. Your content is the trust. The more time they watch your content, the more likely they're to buy. This is what I'm saying about people who binge buy. This is why you need to create a show, right? Going all the way back up. You need to create a show, not a channel. Give them a reason to return. Give them a reason to binge. I can guarantee if you follow these 8 steps, you will not lose. And if you want help doing this, right, there's some resources down below. You can download the lead magnet, no gatekeeping. You can go straight. I'm not going to ask for your email. Go straight there. You can download it and get the resource doc that I made with AI. And also, there is I'm running a first ever YouTube launch cohort where I'm helping people in 5 days launch a client attracting YouTube channel. Whether you have a channel or you're new and you're just trying to start one, this will be very impactful for you so you can launch the channel the right way. That'll actually get you clients, grow your business, grow your brand in 2026 and beyond. So check that out down below. And I've always put in the comments what you find most valuable. Thank you guys so much. I'll see you in the next video. Peace.